Welcome to Get Offset. My name is Emily, and I gotta say, your hair looks nice today. Did you brush it? Or it looks like you rubbed your fingers in it. And if you don't have hair, the shape of your head, the shine looks really great also. Yeah. I'm loving my hair. I washed it today. Because I worked out a box, but that's not why we're here. We're not here to talk about my hair. We're here to talk about the Powercab 112 Plus by Line 6. It offers a bevy of speaker emulations that's different than cab sims. They get into the differences of the tech in the manual, which you can read online. I won't. They are different. It's actually a lot more impressive if you read up on it. But first I kind of want to talk about why I like the Powercab, how I've been using it, and then I'll run through a bunch of different sounds through the HX Stomp, pan to the HX Stomp. Ooh, impressive, exciting. So stick around for that. I'll try to remember to put some timestamps in there for ya. But let's talk about who is this for? Why can't I just use a normal guitar cab? Well, if you have a powered amplifier, you can use a normal guitar cab. But if you're using something like an HX Stomp, a Podgo, an Iridium, an ACS1 by Walrus, a Kemper, or something like that. So I don't know about that. Something that you would normally just plug into a PA, it doesn't power a guitar cabinet. Because normal guitar cabinets are passive. This is active. It means it requires its own power, it's digital, and it fills a gap that you normally have with a loudspeaker. I do a lot of DI playing, a lot of DI gigging with my band Sunday Crush, and normally it's fine. You play even like kind of a smaller venue, a basement venue like Barboza in Seattle, and they're perfectly equipped to do a completely DI rig. Shoot, I've played 85 cap venues, done DI, and it's sounded great. I've been able to use like IEMs even in 85 cap dive bars. The technology is great, but there are a couple things you're lacking, and frankly, sometimes you just can't get away with it. And the big issues are typically personal monitoring is kind of a big one. You're not feeling like you're playing live on stage if you don't have the IEMs or they're not equipped for the IEMs. IEMs kind of make everything better, and sometimes there's just too much happening that to push everything through the speakers is just not going to work. The Powercab really makes up for all of those potential things if they go wrong, and gives you that feeling of having an amp when you're playing a completely digital modeling amp simulation situation. So everything that can go wrong, this is your insurance policy. It's going to be your best friend, and for a couple of reasons. Here are the ways that I have been using the Powercab. One, so before I got the Powercab, I was using some sort of amp simulator, amp modeler. I would just play it through my JBL monitors. That was fine. It felt like I was playing through a computer. It didn't feel like I was playing through an amplifier. This definitely feels like I'm playing through an amplifier. It gives me that feeling of pushing air that I don't get through the JBLs, which have that perfectly flat, wide frequency response. They're great for listening to music. They're great for mixing music. They don't make me super duper feel like I'm playing guitar, and that's kind of a bummer. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it can kind of take you out of it, and that yeah, it doesn't make me feel very good. I plug into this, I get the exact patch, the sound I want. I feel like I'm a guitarist again. I feel like I'm playing guitar instead of just playing a plugin. And obviously you can do some routing stuff through your DAW if you're relying on a bunch of stuff like that to get your sounds. You can do monitoring through that via like kind of reamping sort of situations. But like it's kind of the same idea. But I haven't done that yet. I just know that you can. It takes away, it puts you back into the mindset. That's one way I use it. Another way, I've used it for gigging. I have, because I gigged with the Podgo. Check out the Podgo video if you haven't. The first week I had the Podgo or something, I gigged with it. I gigged with it at a small venue. And just because I wasn't 100% sure they'd be able to accommodate a completely DI setup, I brought the Powercab and it sounded great. And it was excellent. It was better for monitoring. I still did DI with the sound guy, so he had more control over the sound, which was great for him. Less potential for noise, bleed, and feedback loops. Those are things you don't want in your mixing, because that's another problem with making amps, is there's that potential for other things to bleed into those microphones. The more mics you have on stage, the bigger that risk is. So to minimize the number of microphones you have on stage, I'm personally a fan. I think it makes it easier. And that kind of leads me to the next way I've been using the Powercab Plus. Rehearsals and writing sessions with my band Sunday Crush. I take this to our writing space, and I leave it there. The band can hear me. I can bring my, again, HX Stomp XL. I can make any kind of effect patch I want to on the fly. It's really easy. I play around. Everyone else can hear me through this, and we can route through the back, DI it directly into our interface, and we're DIing everybody, so everyone has their own specific mix of what's happening. So before that, we just been like recording our sessions, our writing sessions on a phone, and then when it was time to be like, oh, well, let's listen back, we'd be like kind of struggling to hear, like, what the heck was I playing? Was it like, what was that? What was I doing next? With what we're doing now, since everyone's going to separate tracks, and because it's DI, it's so clean, you can completely pull out every single other thing, because the only thing that's not DI'd is the drums and any vocals that we put in. So it makes it so much easier for us to write, because we're figuring it out together, and it's just making it so much easier for us to pull our ideas together. So those are just some of the ways I've been using the Powercab as someone who uses a lot of modeling stuff, someone who really has been loving the Podgo, the HX Stomp, someone I've used the Iridium for years in a lot of ways, in a lot of capacities, been using digital amps and things like that for tons of shows. It's been a dream. Love it. So, typically as someone who uses something like a Podgo and HX Stomp, your two options are either to just not use the amp and cab simulations at all and play through an amp and just use the patches for the effects, or to use a loudspeaker, which again just doesn't quite feel like playing through an amp. So this bridges the gap. It's cool. Well, thanks for listening to that. Let's reward you. Let's build an extremely super duper simple patch on the HX Stomp. Right now I have a Matchstick Chieftain-esque amp here. Let's hear that. And I'll just go over here to my other camera. I'm starting with the vintage cab. You can find descriptions of all of these in the manual. I'm not going to read from the manual. I trust that y'all are able to do that. But I'm going to go through them all, and I'm going to go through them hopefully mic'd with an SM57, and then I'm going to compare that to the DI sound. The DI sound will be an SM57. Both are about 1.5 inches away. That's what the setting is on the Powercab. One thing that's really cool about the Powercab is you can pick a bunch of different amps, microphone sounds, and you can specify the miking technique. I think that's really neat. That kind of puts it above and beyond a lot of different options. Like even the Tone Master Series by Fender, which I really, really love for what it is, they just let you pick between 2 microphone types. And then some other cab sems, I think they might let you pick between, that I own, they might let you pick between some different microphones, and they let you pick the distance from the center cone. So they all have different kind of options. But yeah, let's get back to this. HX Stomp. So I have my Chieftain sound. And then I just have a simple spring reverb, and I think I'm gonna add just a little compressor, a mono compressor, maybe. No, maybe deluxe comp. And I really desperately want to keep it simple, so that's gonna be it for now. I've already tuned up, I promise. Let's get to the settings here. So this is, again, starting with the vintage cab. There's another thing I like is there's always a different color on the select there. So you change it by selecting, boop, and then it changes. So you can see that one says flat. And if I was using a cab simulator, I would go with the flat response, but I'm not, so I am using the other ones. So yeah, let's listen to this on vintage. Mic'd. DI'd. Okay, that sounded pretty good. Now we're on green. I wonder what that could be. All right, and DI. Cool. See what's next. What's next? I like that the color for green is green. All right, cream is cream. Ha! All right, I'm gonna tune that G string again in advance. Ooh, that was actually not so bad. All right, let's hear it mic'd. And DI. Sick. Next up, Jarvis. My favorite Jarvis is Jarvis Cocker. When I interned at Beggar's Group, my boss Sonia had a big cardboard, or was it Lisa? One of them had a big cardboard cutout of Jarvis Cocker, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing. I love that thing, man. All right, woo! Let's hear it mic'd. And DI'd. brain is broken. Like, that was one of those moments. Next up, Bayou. Makes me wish I knew that song. Oh, makes me wish I knew some Dr. John songs. All right, mic'd. And DI'd. Ooh, that was too loud. Let's DI it. Loud. I had to turn that down a little bit to compensate. All right. Essex. Essex's next sticks. Mic'd. DI'd. On very limited space, so I'm just so worried I'm gonna bump the mic. All right. Natural. The Natural, one of the great baseball movies. Mic'd. DI'd. Wonder how I pick the riffs that I pick, and it's usually because I find that those picks are a mix between like chords and like some lead stuff. This one's called Dino, and this is what it sounds like mic'd. I very briefly played a riff from the Michelle Sullivan song Little Pink Room just now, and then Michelle Sullivan texted me. Really weird. Here is how that sounds DI'd. Oh my god! Too proud to leave mistakes in these demos, much to the chagrin of the haters. Alright. Ecto. Mic'd. DI'd. Distracted, yeah. Harold. Harold, mic'd. Harold DI'd. Neat. Beep. Brown. Wonder who that can be for. One cool thing that's in the manual that I really do want to mention is that they tell you what amp types traditionally pair with which speakers. They don't make you pair them with them, but it's helpful to know to start out with because it's good to know the rules before you break the rules. Mic'd. D-eyed. Shade. What gets thrown in my comment sections? Mic'd. D-eyed. That one was loud. Jetson, meet the Jetson. I wonder what this one could be. Mic'd up. One a lot. Like that one. It's so like open and hollow almost in a good way. Neat. Ooh. 64 AC30 G12. That feels specific. Mic'd. D-eyed. All right. 59 Tweed P10N. That was a mouthful. Mic'd. D-eyed. Cool. 64 Deluxe P12N. Mic'd. D-eyed. Purple. 67 green back. Mic'd. favorite. 67 70s. What? 100. What? Mic'd. DI. What? All right, and 90s Cali V30. Mic'd. DI'd. Ooh, is there anything else? I think that might be the last one. Yeah. So that was the last one, but I'm just going to roll through all of the presets with an open, so you can really hear the differences side by side. I'm probably just going to do a DI on all of these just for a more consistent sound. But then I'll just give my final thoughts, feelings, emotions about this. Just things that, I don't think we're probably going to translate in a video because I don't think they can. But I'll get to that. Let's go back over. Woo! All right, so my final thoughts are, I think if you're going to get a Powercab, it's worth the money to upgrade to the Powercab Plus for the extra stock impulse responses and so that you can upload your own. Also, there's MIDI capability, which I think is pretty cool, and just a host of other features that I just think make it more worth it. So, like, obviously, I have the Powercab Plus. I'm glad I have the Powercab Plus, and I think it's a better product, hands down. They also have a 212. I don't have that, so I can't really speak to it. I also did not research a lot about it. But let me talk about the stuff that, like, it's hard to convey in a video, like, beyond sound, and that is really, like, the feeling. And I know I touched on this in the beginning of the video, but we all know as guitarists there's a feeling of playing an amplifier in a room, there's that feeling of pushing air. And it's kind of hard to translate, but playing through speaker monitors doesn't get you there. Playing through like open back headphones even doesn't quite get you there. This will get you there. This will make you feel like you're playing an amplifier because you really truly are at this point. So that's I think really key. I think it makes it kind of an essential ingredient for anybody playing a lot of amp simulators these days, because most of them are not going to power a cabinet on their own. So if you want that feeling, if you want that vibe, if you want that experience, this is a great option. I really believe that. I think that after like the first 6, they get more unique, more diverse and interesting, and more frankly different from each other. Another reason I think that getting the Powercab Plus is, personally for me, I would think it's the better investment. Especially if you're not just going to use the flat response all the time, which I don't think you should just use the flat response all the time, because I think the other cabinets, I think the built-in speakers are really cool. Yeah, but thank you so much to Line 6 for sending me this. I know a lot of you have been asking about this product, so I'm glad I finally got to it. Please consider using our affiliate links from Sweetwater, especially if you're interested in anything you saw in this demo. I played my RevStar, my HX Stomp XL, and of course my Powercab Plus. I'll drop links to all of those in the video description. I have shirts that get like this one at getoffsetpodcast.com/shop. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/getoffset. Please like, comment, subscribe below. Those are the best ways to help the podcast and YouTube channel, which is what you're watching, not the podcast. But there's also a podcast. You can subscribe to that on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Whoo! Boy, howdy, am I tired of talking. Thanks for watching. Thanks for understanding. Keep doing whatever you're doing with your noggin, your hair, and your head. My name is Emily. Until next time, goodbye.